everyone, and welcome to the Intimate Talks interview series. I'm Efros, and our special guest today is Ilona Shariga, a former banker and the founder of lingerie brand Miss Pomelo. Hi, Ilona. So nice to have you with us today.
Hi, Asi. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I know that you work very close with your mother, who has a manufacturing unit and had it for some time. She has an amazing experience, enormous experience in the field. I'm very, very curious to know how you two work together and what you've learned.
Would be happy to share. I guess it's a very unique experience coming from banking and going into manufacturing and dealing with pushbacks. Happy to share, just with no filter. Take it away.
Absolutely. That's the only way I want it. So, what is your factory known for?
Okay, so the family factory is run by my mom, who has been a technology officer for a lingerie mega corporate before I was even born. And as such, the roots, the cultural roots of the business go back to the truly European roots of lingerie making. And we're talking longevity, durability, quality, comfort, respect for the fit, respect for the aesthetics, all of them rolled into one. And funny enough, her bras, when I just started selling them, were dubbed as the bras as they don't make them anymore. The bras as they don't make them anymore. This is what they were called. And so she has, after she's left her original corporate, she has set up a company, and in different shapes and forms. She has been around for 20 years now, and I think her career spans nearly 50 years now. And so the company is known as an expert for plus-size lingerie. It's a niche. Riches are in the niches, always have been. So positioning has been the plus size. Second, the truly European quality. There's no cutting corners at all. Throughout the length of time, she has never decided to take a shortcut. And three is colors. She has a penchant for colors. Anybody who does lingerie understands there are gazillions of components. And to source the components that coordinate in color, including the hook and eye extensions and whatnot, it's very difficult. But she says, I'm bored otherwise. I don't want to do the nude and black and white. I want to have color. So that's her character. And I guess the fourth is we take a very long-term approach to everything. It's not transactional. It's not, I'm going to get everything today and tomorrow may be gone. It's about, we are in it for a long haul, and we want our customers to stay here decade after decade after decade. And that really drives a lot of decisions in how we conduct the business. So that's, in a nutshell, the answer.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Me too. I believe in long-term relationships and relationships in general. Exactly, you said it. So since you specialize, your factory specializes in plus sizes, what are nuances of that category?
That's a great question. That's a great question. So let's look at the breast. So at the heavier cups, let's say H cup or higher cup, the weight of the breast is 1.5 kilos to maybe 2 kilos heavy each. So we're talking a bottle of Evian in each hand. Imagine that. And you have that attached to your torso. That's heavy. And so as such, the challenge the manufacturer has is to create a garment that will support and distribute the weight comfortably so that the person can move naturally without the restraint. So the challenges that manufacturer solves are numerous. One is the even distribution of the weight, because it has a direct impact on the health of the backbone. And as you know, once you have issues with the backbone, it may have repercussions throughout the body. So that's probably one of the key ones. Another one, let me check my cheat sheet, is the support for the bust, so that it can be staying in a natural position while allowing the free and constraint and natural movement. So very often the bras are compared to the suspension bridge. And indeed, why that is because the breast doesn't move in a direct line. When you move, it moves in the sinusoid shape. And as such, you essentially are moving a suspension bridge, but for the part of your body. Third, very important, breathability. A bigger breast is a warm mass of body that is prone to infections, sweating, etc. So it's important that bra doesn't just support, but it also allows you to breathe, especially in a hotter climates. And the fourth is given shape. So you want to create a nice, attractive shape under the clothing, and regardless, regardless of whether you have clothing on. But as we mentioned earlier, 2 kilograms, it's a lot of mass. So to frame it accurately, you have to come up with some engineering techniques. So these are the 4 major nuances of how the larger lingerie is built. And usually it is achieved with very classical features. So you would expect to have wider foam cushion straps for comfort. You would expect to have a taller band, and elastics that come in a band would have to be wider. You would expect to have a taller hook and eye closure, at least 3 rows, you would expect to have a leotard back in the end. The center gore would be taller, and the cups would be fuller coverage, because you want your breasts to be nested in the bra comfortably without the risk of them falling out. Very often, something that is missing largely from the modern bras is cotton lining. We put cotton lining essentially in all of our bras. And then for the shape, it's the power sling. Our power sling on the larger sizes, they come with a foam, so they really have a hold, like a firm hold on the breast. Just to mention a few, I don't want to go into too much details, but these would be the nuances. And you got to use firmer fabrics, fabrics that can be more durable, because wear and tear with bigger forms is a lot more significant than when the smaller sizes. Though, this is just a brief. I mean, it's an endless conversation we can have, but probably another time.
That's amazing. Oh my God, there's so much. It's so many differences from the regular sizes. I see. So if let's say a lingerie startup would like to venture into plus sizes, and they would like to approach factory manufacturer like your factory, what information they have to submit to manufacturer?
It's a very good question. And unfortunately, there's no easy way to answer that, because realistically, you have to make an assumption that you need manufacturer more than manufacturer needs you. Right. Manufacturing by default is a high overheads business, where planning, long-term planning is essential. So they have a pipeline of orders spanned out for 5 to 6 months. Why? Because manufacturer wants the relationship, but they don't want you to feel as a customer that you have a timeshare on them. To be able to plan that relationship, it requires planning of workforce, resources, material purchases, all of that. So they have a couple of options as an absolutely new company. You can either come to a manufacturer and say, well, what do you have in your roster of products? What is very popular? What is it you have been doing for a long time and works every time? And I think every manufacturer would be happy to modify the existing product in a color, to a spec, in a way that will be unrecognizable to what they're already making. So, nobody will be able to say, we've seen this somewhere else. This is your number one option, probably the easiest for everybody. Second option is you come in with the tech pack, and tech pack is essentially a document that any manufacturer will be able to use to create a product in isolation. So there will be specs such as what materials to make, what materials to use, what are the patterns, what is the sequence of putting the garment together. It's a pretty straightforward thing. And before the manufacturer will consider taking you on board, they need to assess a number of things, such as how serious are you as a potential customer? Can you bring volumes? Will they receive repeat orders from you? Why? Because every changeover, every resetting is an opportunity cost. Very often when you go from one color to another manufacturing, it's cleaning all decks. It's very thorough. Even when you start using new material, let's say New Jersey, sometimes anything can happen, like a flat lock machine that was always working on one jersey will just stop and won't work on the other. And it takes retuning and resetting, and it's all costly. Any stand time is costly. So from the manufacturer to take you on board, they need to get comfortable with you. How great is your product? Does it have a future? Specifically, does it have a future for their manufacturing facility? And if it doesn't, and if it's just time, unfortunately, the decision will be not in your favor. And this is nothing personal. It's just because they have to justify the huge overheads that they are running. And the third option is you come in with a sketch, or you come in with an idea, or maybe you come in with a product that you like in the market that you want to creatively rework. And I'm not going to be the first one to say it and not the last, but it happens all the time. So you creatively rework something and voila, you got a brand new product. It's as old as the world itself. And it's probably a very similar to what I've described in a second leg of my answer, with an added complexity that you will need a pattern maker who will develop the patterns and then will grade them, and you will have to wear test it and agree with the owners of the brand. And you also will need an advisor who will handhold you through the whole process until the very such time when this product is ready to be a tech pack and it's ready to be manufactured. And then you are again looking at assessment from the manufacturer if they're willing to take you on board. So if you have something interesting to offer, the odds may be in your favor. But if not, what happens more often than not is going to be sort of a fixed cost for product development, patterns, testing, etc. And that's it. You can take that elsewhere. But I think manufacturers are unlikely to be transactional in their mindsets. They're likely to be relationship biased just because of the reasons I've explained. So I guess it's not a straightforward answer. It's all very subjective. What's interesting is different manufacturers have very different philosophies. You really want to meet a number of them and see the match in philosophies and see the match in vision, because different folks, different strokes, you may strike a lucky strike, with some and not with the others. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that's so good. So if let's say the brand is a startup, how does the brand build a long-standing relationship with the manufacturer?
Well, the obvious thing is to place orders and be very, very specific to what you want. Very often, I think it can be compared to giving the exercise to a developer in writing code. You give a design of a website to a developer, he will create exactly in the way your spec suggests. Nothing more, nothing less. So it's nothing personal. It's very, very, very much down to a spec. One thing that I wanted to specifically, two things I wanted to specifically comment on is to avoid disappointment when you go through the process, set the rules of engagement from the get-go. How many samples would you want developed? What are the stages for sample development? What are the time frames? Because the manufacturer may raise an eyebrow when you say, I want sample number 6. They are likely to cap it at a certain amount, because that's, again, it's a downtime and it's standing time, unproductive time for them. The less they do of that, the better for them, better for you. And just to explain, the industrial setup is such that no manufacturer will touch an order under a certain volume. So, for example, many would say minimum amounts of SKU, which is like the same style, same color, is 200 pieces. Let's say 200 pieces or 500 pieces or 1,000 pieces, depending on the manufacturer. Because anything lower than that is meant it's done by hand, and it's unthinkable in the industrial setting. Nothing personal, it's just the way it is. And so, if you order less, they are likely to spread the cost of the minimum order and apportion it to the lower volume that you're ordering. So you will end up with a much higher cost. So I remember anecdotally, there was a case of a lady who started a nursing bra company, and she was proud that she manufactured them in the UK, but the cost of one bra was £20, and it's a nursing bra. And so think about what will you have left, if anything at all, after marketing costs, after setup costs on your end. So it's a very valid, it's a very valid point to think about.
I see. Well, thank you. It is very important for brand owners to know and understand. Well, Ilona, thank you so much for your absolutely amazing, so truthful, honest, open, and passionate conversation. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I think that this video, just like the first one, will be so helpful for startups, established brands to understand how nowadays, the ways how to work with their manufacturers, because as you said, everything is changing so quickly, and it's a great philosophy to take day by day, right? And adjust.
I see. I'm glad I was able to contribute. I hope it is of help, and thank you so much again for having me. It was great.
Thank you. If you find this content useful, please like the video, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to the channel to see more videos from the Intimate Talks interview series. I'm Efros. Thank you so much for watching.